Hey y'all, Coach Chichi here. Welcome to this blooming room. This is the second part of the two-part episodes of why the 12 reasons people do not leave abusive relationships. In the first episode, we talked about indoctrination, fear, shame, we talked about normalization, we talked about low self-esteem, and then we also talked about and low self-esteem. I can't remember the first one now, but there were six of them. You can just go back on the YouTube on my YouTube videos and you will find the first part. So the second part of this video, we're going to talk about the next 6 points that are the reasons people are likely not to leave abusive relationships. Okay. The seventh one is false hopes of change or delusional beliefs. The false hope of change or delusional beliefs. Now, delusion is the power that all of us have in especially women, in our ability to change our husbands. We believe that if we marry and if we find anything, no matter how bad it is, I can change him. I can love him enough to change him. That magical power that women tend to think that they have is a savior syndrome. Oh, I can change him. I'll pray for him. I'll fast for him. I'll make love to his mind. I will cook for him. I will sacrifice myself for him. I will stay home and sacrifice my job for him. We always have these things that we think that we will do to make someone love us more or want to commit more to us rather than accept people for who they are. The false hope of things getting back to how it used to be in the beginning of relationships, because most relationships don't start off being you know tumultuous. There are fantastic memories that you started out with. So people are always hoping that there could something that they could do to take it back to those early days of the relationship. Okay, so when they were at their best performance, because that's what it was just performance, especially in empathic personalities who always have make excuses for other people's bad behavior, false hopes of change, and delusional beliefs. Number eight, guilt. Guilt is that ingrained feeling that the abused has, that they are responsible for the abuse that is being meted out to them, that somehow they are responsible for how they are being treated. Ironic, isn't it? It links with poor self esteem because you always think, oh, it's my fault. I did something wrong. If I had done this, this would not have happened. And it's also ingrained because the abuse, the perpetrator is good at what they do, because they have these bouts of rage and bouts of peace. And so during those bouts of peace, they might, part of the reconciliatory move will be, I don't like to hit you, but it's just that you make me do these things. I love you very much. I really don't like to do this, but I've always told you not to. When you do that, it sets me. So after a while, it starts to sink into the psyche of the abused that I am the one who is provoking this anger that is shown towards me. Yeah. So what happens? The abused is always the one seeking out peace. They are constantly being the one being to seek to become the peacemaker. They can't express themselves, they can't defend themselves. It's like walking around eggshells. They are always second guessing themselves, trying to be careful not to offend, what selective in terms of how they speak, in terms of how they behave. I don't want to provoke. I don't want to provoke. That is how the relationship is like. So guilt, fatherhood. I don't know how it is everywhere in the world, but oftentimes in Africa, especially in my part of Africa, in West Africa, um, there is a lot of stigma to single mothers and women who have children by different fathers. So, part of there are things in this particular point. Now, the first one is there are those who do not want to have children by different fathers. So they will say, I will stay here and have all my children. Yeah. I'll say, okay, I have to turn now because the sun is moved. So I have to turn this way so that y'all can see me very well. So just excuse me a little bit. I'm going to have to turn in this direction so that the sun is on my face, and then perhaps you can see me better. Yes, I believe this is better. Yeah. And so what happens is they want to, the, the, they say, oh, they insist on having all their children by one man. They don't want to, they don't want to, have the children by different fathers, and so they stay on. The second part is for those who didn't have their fathers present in their lives. They also do not want to be the reasons why their children will not have their father present in their lives, and so they stay on so that their children can have a two-parent household rather than the single one that they had, not knowing that just because a man is present doesn't mean that the children are experiencing positive fatherhood, fathering. There's a difference between the physical presence of a man or a woman in a house and actually that individual being a mother or a father. Number 10, the need for privacy. Some people protect their relationships at all costs, even to their own detriment. They don't want anybody else. I know that it's important when you say, oh, you know, don't want third parties, but there's a need for it because um, there are those who have come to strongly believe that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They don't want anybody to know anything that's going on in their relationship. This ties to number 5. When we talked about shame, especially when there's been disappointments, especially when things haven't actually gone the way that. So when we're given a different image on the outside, on the inside, it's a big mess. Okay, they don't want to be laughed at, they don't want to be ridiculed, they don't want to be talked about, and they have an image to protect. They want people to think they're in a great relationship. Oftentimes, you even see it, people live above their means, they drive flashy cars, but they don't have a single penny in the bank account. So what they are in public is different from what they are behind closed doors. And so find out that in some cases, the abused find themselves doing things that they never thought, if someone had asked them, that they would have agreed to do. So they do everything to maintain the facade. Unfortunately, abuse thrives in silence and secrecy. Number 11, addiction to an idea of love. I call this the Cinderella syndrome. I think that Walt Disney has done us a lot of disservice with all of these cartoons and this kissing of the frog that turns to a prince and then they live happily ever after. So the statistic says 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. Things like slapping, shoving, pushing, etc. While 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men have been injured by an intimate partner. Some people are so used to being in unhealthy relationships. Yes, some people self-sabotage. I've heard several stories of people who met somebody that was really good. They couldn't believe that that kind of love actually existed, and they frustrated that love. Some people actually self-sabotage good relationships because they are used to all of that unhealthy drama in relationships. So a lot of people do not have the capacity to hold on to good love when they find it. Honest, true relationships. And so they end up ruining it for themselves. The last one for today. Have you subscribed yet? Subscribe, like, share, and leave me your comments. Rationalization. This is especially true when the partners meet a very important need. You hear things like, he's abusive, but the bedroom sessions are fantastic. He knows how to twist, turn, fold me. He or she knows how to. They show me things that I never thought existed. Or you hear things like, I know he or she's abusive, but they provide. They provide. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes on I and the kids we're taking care of financially. They rationalize it. So subconsciously, they have placed the needs that is being met over and above the safety, their safety of them and the children and their well being. So the needs are more important than their life, their peace of mind, rationalization. So those are the 6 points that capture today's episode, making it 12. Don't forget to go back. I'll put the link in the video for the first 6 episodes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and have some compassion and understanding. When you understand all of this, you're able to provide help to any friend or sibling who might be experiencing abuse. Take care of yourselves and love each other. Cheers.